Hey y'all, this is Tasha, and today I'm here to do my March wrap-up and my April TBR. I decided to do them combined because I read 8 books in April, or excuse me, I read 8 books in March, but I can only talk about 4 of them because I'm judging the Vivian and I can't talk about those books. So let's go ahead and do the wrap-up for March. March, I was somewhat in a reading slump, so I didn't really read anything. I watched a lot of K-pop videos. I got into ATs. They're amazing. The stage presence, whatever. Anyway, I didn't do a whole lot of reading. I just wasn't feeling it, but I'm out of that, and so here we are today. The first book that I finished in the month of March was Don't Look for Me by Wendy Walker. This is a thriller that focuses on a mother who has, like, her family has had like a tragedy, and the mom is harboring a lot of guilt about the tragedy. So what she did was she just disappeared one day. And her oldest daughter doesn't think that she would just leave without saying anything, but everybody believes that she just left to start a new life because she couldn't handle the guilt anymore. This is a dual perspective novel. What it does essentially is that it follows the mother who has been kidnapped and the daughter who's looking for the mother who never gave up. I listened to this on audio. The audio was really good. It had one narrator, but she narrated both people, and the story was very good. I did not get the plot twist until I didn't get the plot twist until I was supposed to. So like all my guesses were wrong throughout. This is like my second or third Wendy Walker. I want to say it's the second I've read of hers, and I really enjoy her thrillers. I think they are good for people who don't read a lot of thrillers. I think that they are good for people who want to get into thrillers. They're a fun ride. They're very interesting. They're not too gory. So I definitely would suggest this one, Don't Look for Me. I ended up giving it 4 stars. It was really, really good. I got this is an older arc that I had that was on NetGalley, so I'm trying to work my way through those so I can get my feedback score up. So I thank NetGalley and the publisher for this. Okay, I only read 1 physical book this month, and that was The Winter of the Witch by Katherine Arden. This is the 3rd book in the Winter Night trilogy. We are still following Vasilisa after the events that happened in the 2nd book. Since it's a 3rd book, I can't really get into it. This is somewhat of a disappointment to me. I only ended up giving it 2 stars, and I think that this is what put me in a slump. I don't know if I wasn't in the mood for it or what, but the writing was still just as beautiful as Katherine Arden writes. I will say that her writing is absolutely magical, and it has a fairy tale quality to it. This whole series does, but just something about the pacing in this book really didn't do it for me. And so this is definitely the weakest one in the trilogy. I like the 1st book. I love the 2nd book. And this one is definitely the weakest one in the trilogy. I would say that overall, I'd probably give this trilogy a 3-star. I plan on doing a blog post for this that'll be up next week. So when that's up, I'll link it in the description box below. But yeah, it just really didn't do it for me. This is a part of my Curate the Shelf, so that I got that done, and also this is part of me completing a series, which is something that I want to do. I was going to do a quarter 2 goals video and check in on my quarter 1 goals. If that's something that you'd be interested in seeing, go ahead and like this video and leave a comment below. But yeah, this is kind of what put me in a slump. So 2 stars. I'm glad I finished the trilogy. I'd recommend it to a specific type of reader. I read was an arc that I received from NetGalley called Sarahland. It's a short story collection out from Grand Central Publishing. It came out in the month of March. In this short story collection, the common thread is that there's a character named Sarah in all of them. The first story was about Jewish American princesses at a college, about them going to college and finding a husband was their main goal. Our main character that we follow in that one, that wasn't really what her thing. These stories all had a bunch of speculative elements they had a lot of raw content in it, and they had a lot of LGBTQ plus themes. So the writing was great. Sam Cohen really just, those stories were so good. I am reading more short stories now, and I'm really enjoying the adventure that I'm going on with short stories. And this is a very strong short story collection. My favorite one was named Gossip, and that one was essentially about a couple who their stories being told by their group of friends. So there's different people talking about each person in the couple and about the couple being together, and then about their breakup. At the beginning of the story, they are broken up. There was one called Dream something, I can't remember. And this one, she's like driving down this road, and then she enters this thing, and she's essentially, it's almost like entering a birth canal, I guess. And like all this weird stuff is happening, and this is a very speculative short story collection. So if you like realistic fiction, I don't know if this would be for you. However, the writing is so strong, it's so imaginative, and the themes are very much put out there in a way that is super duper interesting. So this is a 4-star read for me. I really enjoyed it, and I'm interested to see what this author would come out with next. I would definitely read a full-length novel from this author. The last book that I I listened to on audio, was Island Affair by Priscilla Oliveras. This is a romance book that follows Sarah and Louise. Sarah came to Key West to do a family vacation with her family of doctors, and she's like a social media influencer, and her boyfriend sends her up, and she's trying not to cause any stress on the trip because she's kind of like the mess up of the family. And she runs into Luis, who is from the island, and he's a firefighter who has just been put on 7 days leave. So they do a fake relationship, and things happen from there. Things progress from there. This book not only focuses on the romance, but it focuses on familiar relationships and how they can be repaired. Overall, I really did enjoy this story. I think my biggest complaint was that when the secret came out that they weren't really together, that there weren't really any consequences for it, and that really bothered me. Like, everybody was just like, oh, well, you know, we're sorry about that, but Sarah, but it's okay. And I don't know how I felt about it. I got why it happened, because the family was trying to come together and changing the dynamic within the family. However, I just felt like there should have been some consequence for it, and therefore it made the ending seem a little rushed. I don't know. But overall, I did really enjoy it. I gave this 3.5 stars. I have the second one that comes out this month. It comes out in April, and I'll be reading that. I got an advanced copy of that, so I plan on reading that. It's following the sister of Luis, and I'm really excited about that because I really did enjoy her as a character in this book. All right, let's get into the TBR. I have a very ambitious TBR. I started a lot of books in the month of March. I just didn't finish a lot, so my main focus is to finish the books that I started in March, and then I have quite a few arcs. I have about 10 arcs that come out in April that I would like to make. I'm not going to say that I'm going to read all of them because I have some other stuff that I have to read, but I do want to make progress in a lot of these arcs. I think that in June I think in June or something here pretty soon, before the first half of the year, I'm going to take that month to catch up on arcs from like the first 6 months of the year. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but anyway, that's just something that I'm thinking about. So I have those. I have some books that I'm reading with friends. I have some series continuations that I want to do. So having said all that, here are the books that I started in the month of March that I hope to finish in the month of April. The first book that I have here is Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron. This is about witch doctors, and so the main character is the granddaughter of a very powerful witch doctor. Her father's a powerful witch doctor. Her mama is really powerful in magic, but she has no magic. So she's trying to figure out what's going on, why she doesn't have magic, and she's willing to do anything to have magic to keep the family legacy going. I'm about 94 pages in. I'm enjoying this. I thought I would like it a whole lot more. This is my second time picking it up, and I do plan on finishing it. I've just been having problems with young adult fantasy here recently, so I don't know if it's a me thing or what it is, but I'll let y'all know what I think about this as I get further in. I don't feel like I'm far enough in to really have a strong opinion on it. So this is one that I started last month that I hope to finish, Kingdom of Souls by Rena, Barron. The next one is one that I don't think will be a surprise to anyone, and that is A Court of Silver Flames. This is Nesta's story. Everybody's talking about it. I got about, let's see, 268 pages in. This book is almost 700 pages. I'm enjoying it so far. There's been a couple steamy scenes. I'm liking the new characters that are being introduced, and I'm liking seeing more about the characters that we already know. What can I say? It's Sarah J. Maas. It's like candy. And I know that once I sit down to read this, I'll fly through it. But at the moment, the thought of picking this up was so cumbersome that I couldn't do it in the month of March. So I for sure will be finishing this in the month of April and doing a wrap up. Another one that I'm about 75% in is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I don't really know why I put this down. It's fantasy romance. It follows Poppy and Hawk. Yeah, that's his name. And I was at the part where they are leaving the kingdom, going to the main kingdom. It's brutal. It's fantasy. The world building is not that great, and maybe that's why it's not really hitting for me. And the romance, I don't know. Poppy has other girl vibes, so I'm not really feeling it. But I have 25% left, so I will be finishing this one this month. The next one is an arc that I've been working on, and it's the Gilded Ones. Again, it's just me and YA Fantasy haven't been clicking recently, but I am really enjoying the story so far. The story is very unique in it. We are following a girl who is some kind of demon, and she gets kicked out of her village, and she goes to this training academy. And if she trains, then she'll be able to have pure blood and all this stuff. But she's some kind of specialized demon. I haven't got that far in it. I think I'm about 22 chapters in. But I do plan on finishing this one fairly soon and doing a review on it. Everybody seems to love this, and I am enjoying the writing and the story overall. It is very brutal, so don't go into this thinking that it's going to be fluffy. It's a very brutal story, and it gets pretty raw, and there's a lot of death in it. So I do plan on continuing this and finishing it in the month of April. The next book that's on my list is, these are books that I just want to read. The first one is Perfect Peace. I can't think of the author's name right now. This is a book that I'm reading with Star and Arlene for our monthly book club thing that we do. So I'll be reading this fairly soon because we meet next Saturday, and I haven't started it. But y'all are not surprised, so... The next book that I have is one of my most anticipated books from one of my favorite authors, and that is Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. This is the second book in the Nikolai duology. I didn't love King of Scars, but knowing how Leigh Bardugo writes her stories, I always tend to enjoy the second and third books in a series before I like other than the first books. So this is like I said, the continuation of that. We're going to follow Zoya, Nikolai, and Nina as they continue their journey after the events that happened at the end of King of Scars. I thought the end of King of Scars was kind of cheap, I guess, but this is I'm interested to see what she does. This is a big old book, and the ending of the duology. So that'll be another series that I complete, which is something I want to do this quarter. I do want to try to complete 10 series. So let's get it. The next book that I have is another book that I was really anticipating. I pre-ordered Rule of Wolves, and I also pre-ordered this, A Queen of Gilded Horns by Amanda Joy. This is the second book behind River of Royal Blood. I thoroughly enjoyed River of Royal Blood, and I talk about it in one of the first videos that I ever did on this channel. It is a young adult fantasy that follows two sisters who have to compete to become queen. There's all these different kind of chimera and animals in this kingdom. The characters are so interesting. The whole plot is super duper interesting, and I am so excited to finally have this and to jump in and see what happens and see where things are going after the reveals that happened at the end of book 1. So this is another one, A Queen of Gilded Horns by Amanda Joy. Super excited to get to this. I'm working on something that at the end of the month there'll be a video about all these second books in a series, so stay tuned for that. The next book is also a book that completes a duology, and that is We Free the Stars. I can't believe I haven't read this yet. I was so excited for it. I already reread We Hunt the Flame because I loved it so much, and I wanted to make sure that I had all the information. So this is the second book in the Sins of Aria. I'm not saying that right, but this is the second book in that. The angsty romance I'm ready for, the storyline, the family drama, the political intrigue. Like, I'm ready to jump into this as soon as possible. I do want to finish some of the books that I have almost done first before I jump into this, but this is happening this month, very soon. I'm excited. The next two books are books in anticipation of the release of the next book in this series. I love this series, and I cannot wait for that next book. And Jade with JD Ray Reads is doing a read along, and I'm kind of participating in it. I do want to catch the live show next weekend, so I hope to start this series. Well, it's a reread. I hope to reread these two books. That is Truthwitch and Windwitch. The new book Witch Shadow is coming out in June, and I am so excited for it. I really like Susan Dennard. I like her as a person. I like her as an author. So I'm very, very excited to get to these books, or to reread these books, so I can make sure I have all of the information I need. The first book is Truthwitch. We follow Safi and Isolt, and they are, I want to say Safi. Yes, Safi is a truth witch. And that's a very powerful thing because she can tell when people are lying. Isolt is a thread witch, and she can see the threads that connect people. Some things happen. Safi gets, with Safi and Isolt. It's super duper interesting. It's super duper different from a lot of young adult fantasy. This is a very long series. I think Susan Dennard said it might be about 7 books or something like that. So it's still going on. There's still a lot. There are 3 books and a novella out right now. So I'm so excited for the next book. The romance is blooming in here. I can't wait to see the beginnings of that. When I reread Truthwitch. This is Bloodwitch. This is book 3. This isn't Windwitch. But anyway, this is book 3, but I want to read the second book, which is Windwitch, which I'll put the cover here. Windwitch is about the Windwitch that's there. There's different kind of witches in this world, so each witch has a different power. The book title generally tells you which witch you're going to follow in the story, so just keep that in mind. The main point of view of the story changes, but I do really want to get to those first 2 and catch up with the read along, and then make sure that I read Bloodwitch and Sightwitch before the new book comes out in June, which I'm so excited for. It got pushed back. I'm so excited. Anyway, I'm done rambling about that. And then the last book that I have on here before I get to all of the arcs that I have is Love in Color by Bolu Babalola. This is a short story collection. Well, basically it's a bunch of myth retellings from all over the world, retold by this author. I'm very excited about this. I do have, if you're interested, I'm probably going to do a video on all the short story collections that I've been reading recently, to talk about ones that are good entry point, ones that are good to just kind of mix in with your reading, and ones, that you should probably pick up. So This is a part of that project that I'm working on, and I can't wait to get to this. I won this arc in a Goodreads giveaway, so I'm very excited. It says this comes out on the 21st of April, which is a Wednesday, which is weird, but I think it's already out somewhere, or it is already out. I don't know, but either way, this will get read this month. And since we're talking about arcs, let's go ahead and get into all the ones that I have for release. I'm just going to, they're all e-arcs. Oh, most of them are e-arcs, so I'll just pop a picture up here. I'll just give you the name of them and their release dates. I have What Beauty There Is by Cory Anderson. This comes out on the 6th, which is this coming Tuesday. The next one that I have is Finding Freedom by Erin French. This is out from Celadon Books. This is a memoir. I went to an author event for this, and the author is just super sweet. She's a restaurant owner. I'm really interested in this one. I read a few pages of it. Yeah, I'm only like 20 pages in, but I will be reading this very soon. This is for sure one that I'll get to this month. The next one that I have is Broken in the Best Possible Way by Jenny Lawson. This is her 3rd or 4th essay collection. I'm very excited about it. I've heard good things about her other ones. She wrote Fiercely Happy, and I've always heard really good things about it. So I'm really excited to get to this. This is another one from Celadon Books. The next one that I have is Blackface. This is a short academic text. This is just about the history of blackface and how it started and where it came from. Super duper interested. I've been reading a lot of things about Black history and things like that. So I've always been interested in it, but like now I'm making time to read about these things because I'm like all in and I want to be able to pass this information on. Anyway, the next thing that I have is a Souvenir Museum by Elizabeth McCracken. This is a short story collection, so this will be in that video that I do with the short story collections. I don't know too much about it, and this comes out on the 13th. These two come out on the 6th, and Blackface comes out on the 8th. Next book that I have is the Mary Shelley Club by Goldie Moldavsky. This is I think it's a young adult thriller contemporary type thing. I'm really excited to get to this one. It sounds super interesting. So we'll see what happens with that one. That one also comes out on the 13th. The next one that I have is Atlantis by Gregory Munn. This is a middle grade. It's the first in a series, I believe. Gregory Munn did books with Bill Nye the Science Guy called Jack and the Geniuses. If you look on my blog post and earlier middle grade videos, I talk about Jack and the Geniuses. I love that series. So when I saw that he was coming out with his own book, I definitely requested the art because I love the writing. I love the character work. And I love middle grade. So the next one that I have, and that comes out on the 20th. This next one comes out on the 20th also, and it's She Drives Me Crazy by Kelly Quinlan. And this is a sapphic romance, I believe. YA contemporary. I don't read a lot of YA contemporaries. They got to have a little something extra to them. So I'm hoping that this does. But I think it's like a basketball player and a cheerleader. Not sure how all that works, but should be a fun, quick read. Something to read on the weekends. These next two books come out on the 27th. And it's Anchored Hearts by Priscilla Oliveras. Like I said, this is the companion novel to Island Adventure that I read early in the month. And so this follows Anna Maria, the sister, and it's like a second chance romance. So super excited about that. Hopefully I'll enjoy it. And the last one that I have is Buses Are A-Comin'. This is about the Freedom Riders. This is written by one of the Freedom Riders, somebody who was on the bus. The Freedom Riders were the people who went and protested, I believe. Yeah, during the Civil Rights Movement. I'm super excited about that. I'm really into this. I have some ideas for things that I want to do in the latter half of the month that's going to take a little bit more time. And this is going to be a part of that project that you will see, not later in the month, later in the year. So this will be a project. This will be stuff for that project. So Buses Are Coming by Charles Person. And this is also out. I want to say it's by St. Martin's or Celadon. They're all kind of the same. All right. So that's all the arcs that I have. That's all the books that I want to read. Those are all the books that I read in March that I can talk about. Mixed in there, I do have a couple more book prize books I need to read. And I also got picked to judge the Daphne, so I'll have those to read. I have all the things to read. It's fine. It's nice. I want to sit outside and read all the time anyway. But please let me know what book you are most excited to read and which book you're most excited to see me review. I really have missed you guys, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Follow my blog. And I will be a whole lot more active. I got my content calendar going, so we are going to do this for the second quarter. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope that you have a good day. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that. All right, bye.